This reminds me of the last time I spoke in public. I went after the guy that talked about tarantula sex. Now I'm going after Doug Ross. Thank you very much for being the funniest guy. Do you remember the first time someone asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I remember I said, butterfly. And people just laughed at me and thought I was being cute, but I was serious. And it took me a really long time to figure out that I had to come up with a different answer. So the next time I was asked, I said, none. No, nobody laughed. They looked scared. And then I said, I want to be a reader. I want to read books. No, that didn't go over very well either. So finally, I said, I want to be a psychologist. And everyone's like, yes, 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 that's great, perfect. So I was like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. I like dreams. Maybe I could learn more about dreams. And so I took a few psychology classes and realized that you really didn't study dreams. You talked about maybe medication and schizophrenia and these terrible things that happen to people. And slowly I kind of dropped out of college and moved to Santa Cruz and didn't go back to school for a while and talked to real crazy people on the street and learned a lot, traveled, did some other things. And slowly, I started painting in my room. It was a secret. I didn't tell anyone. I just got some paint, some paper, and it felt like I was learning how to speak. I wanted to say something, but I didn't know how to say it. I was trying to communicate, but it was really difficult to get the message across. And if you ask anybody that knew me at that time, they would say, I remember when you were doing really horrible art. Don't talk to them. But so that's kind of where I started, and slowly I found my way to Cabrillo with finally a real thing that I wanted to pursue and do, which was art. And still it was a secret. I didn't tell my parents or my friends that I was pursuing art. I didn't even tell myself, actually. It took a long time to realize that that was the path I wanted to take. And the first clue was in a printmaking class I took at Cabrillo with Howard Ikemoto, who has since retired. But he was the first art teacher I had that talked about philosophy. He talked about life experience. He talked about sharing our stories. And I realized that art was a place that went beyond itself. It wasn't just about creating something with materials. It could encompass science. It could encompass psychology. It could encompass stories, nuns, butterflies. So it's perfect for me. I could do everything I wanted under the guise of an artist. So Cabrillo was the starting point, and I decided I wanted to transfer to UCSC, which was very difficult because of the previous years where I was kind of doing a lot of things, including failing algebra 7 times. So it was very challenging to get to UCSC, but I finally made it there. And that was kind of my first lesson in how to be an artist. There's a lot of obstacles that you have to get over. Number one obstacle would be maybe society's perception of what and who artists are. They're crazy, they're depressed, they never call you back. Well, that one might be true. But so getting to UCSC was a hurdle that enabled me to get over other hurdles. And once I was there, I started to find the mediums that I love to work in, which is mostly printmaking. I mostly make images from wood blocks. I carve them, ink them up, and print them onto paper. And a lot of my images are images that are telling stories. And I tell stories that I make up myself. I tell stories that come from songs, little snippets of songs, poems. There might even be a phrase that I hear that's simple as hanging by a thread, and it gets stuck in my head. It's like an alert, hanging by a thread. And this vision comes up, and I'm thinking, what thread? Like, where does the thread come from? Is it a thread from a spool? Is it a thread from a piece of fabric? And then what is it hanging off of? And this image starts to form in my mind. And it takes a while. I like to spend time with it. Sometimes I spend months, years before that little idea forms into an image. And finally, I'm ready to articulate it. I'm learning, you know, back from when I was secretly doing my art in my room, I'm finally, oh my gosh, the time thing's already up. Wow, that went really fast. Okay. Anyways, that's what I like about making art. I do just have one thing to say. I'm really sorry, because this is the part that I thought was important. Being an artist is not a linear process. It's not like getting a job at a corporation and you climb the ladder to success. Sometimes you're successful, sometimes you fail, and sometimes it happens within a week. And you have to kind of learn how to go with that and learn that it's a non-linear path and how to make your own path. And I've chosen to not do art full-time. I've chosen to work part-time, working in the arts, and part-time as an artist. That way I feel like I'm able to make my own art without worrying about how the public's going to receive it, and I still know that I have money coming in. And I've been fortunate enough that the art I make, I still can sell. But there are times when I choose to, I kind of split myself and I say I have my heartline art and my lifeline art. So there are times where I make small sellable things to kind of supplement my income, but I still want to stay true to making the art that I don't know if it's going to sell, and it might be part of my failure the next week. Anyways, there's a lot of things I was going to say, but that went really fast. Anyways, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.